to rectify that a factual error. The only reason I mention that is I've been a staunch critique of BBC Click. I don't think it's a good program. I don't think it's beneficial, and I resent having to pay my license fee for that show on TV. So I just throw that in. Sorry, Gordon, over to you.
Yeah, I was going to say this would be the same quality of BBC journalism who seek to inform the public by any story that's an exclusive Microsoft story that's positive, i.e. some new feature that Microsoft are mentioned multiple times, and that there's someone on from Microsoft, some spokesperson on from Microsoft touting it. And then the stories that seek to inform you, exclusive Microsoft stories about malware. The word Microsoft never appears. The word Windows never appears. It's always PCs.
It's implied.
It's always, yeah, it's implied. So, I mean, this would be the same informed journalism to inform the public about the botnets. The same level of journalism. So, yeah. I mean, as Tim says, I don't have a TV, well, in my case, I don't have a TV license. My shredder has developed a taste for the TV license demand letters. It's getting a bit addicted to them now, so I think I better write to the TV license people and inform them, look, hey, unless you're putting my shredder into detox, stop sending me them, you know. It's getting a bit of a taste for them. But, yeah, no, the other point was, I've actually been in the Mint channels the other day, and there was someone came in, I'm not going to say any names, and they were asking about, where do I find out about the WikiLeaks, the hackers? And my point was, well, WikiLeaks, these are the guys who leak the stories. They're not hackers. Or I want to sit in the real channels and watch what the sort of secret channels, and I want to watch how the real hackers get on. And that's against the rules for the Mint servers. We're not going to condone that. We're not going to encourage that. And that's not WikiLeaks. That's anonymous. That's Operation Payback and whatever. And they are doing more harm.
It's more of a 4chan thing.
Yeah, they are harming the cause, and that's what it said. Look, if you do that, it doesn't matter what. There's going to be laws in your country that you're breaking the law. What these guys are doing are breaking the law, and they're putting themselves and their own liberty and their own computer and all that at risk when they do it. Fine, support the cause for freedom and support WikiLeaks. I support WikiLeaks. I support what it stands for. But there's no way that I'm going to break the law in terms of, because I mean, I know that there's laws there to cover stuff like the DDoS attack and hacking attempts and stuff like that. It's crazy. I mean, I know that there's all sorts of attempts by lawmakers and politicians to try and twist the existing laws to somehow make them fit into something that they can hinge to prosecute WikiLeaks and prosecute Julian Assange and everything they stand for as an excuse. But they're not going to work, because you can't make a law and then retroactively apply it to some case. You just can't do that. No court is ever going to accept that. But there definitely is laws in just about every country for what Operation Payback are doing. And if you get involved in that, do it at your own risk.
And for the listeners, I mean, this stuff, you know, the law that can cover these types of actions isn't a secret and isn't known by a select few. It's very easily found on Google. If you're in the UK, certainly a quick Google of Computer Misuse Act, which I pulled up in 2 seconds, I can have a look down that, and it'll spell out all the acts and sections. There's even people online that have actually explained it in more layman's terms, which I don't think it needs in the first place. It's pretty straightforward, and you can see for yourself. And you know, the argument that we didn't realise it was a criminal offence or anything like that will not wash. And you know, at the end of the day, if you're putting your name to these things and you're getting involved in this type of activity, you can expect somebody, if there's a complaint made, to come after you. So, like I say, again, just reiterate, strongly advise people against getting involved in this, because I wouldn't want to think of any of the people that I know that maybe comment on my site getting falling foul of the law, because out of good intentions supporting a cause, they end up on the wrong side of the law. But that's all we can do.
The thing is, it does more harm than good as well, because it gives ill-informed journalists, it gives people like Fox News the ability to say, oh, look, WikiLeaks, they're all hackers, they interfere. WikiLeaks brought down Visa. WikiLeaks didn't bring down Visa. It was a group of people who thought they were helping, and thought they were doing good,
I
but
think
they
they're
really
just
did
looking for
not.
targets in general. They look for all kinds of. It wasn't exactly the causes were an excuse for them to find a new site to burst some anger at. But I was going to say we have a. Sorry, you go first.
So I was just going to very quickly say, if a guy like me that wears a Stetson and calls himself Goblin can look on the internet and tell you in a couple of seconds that it's a criminal offence to engage in these practices, and then we see in the press that somebody has been engaging in these practices for something simple like just preventing a mate from being as good on Call of Duty. I think it says a lot, and I think that should serve as a warning. And I don't want to harp on the subject because I think hopefully now, obviously, people will be seeing the sort of message that it sends out, that they can fall foul of the law, but not just that. It does send a bad message out to the mainstream populace who don't maybe enjoy using computers as a hobby and get involved in the more technical side. All they'll see is a group of people that have been attacking websites, and they maybe won't even understand the full purpose of why. They just see chaos being caused around the festive period when people are bringing down Visa and MasterCard or whatever it was that they were bringing down. So just keep that in mind. And sorry, Roy, back over to you.
Well, there is quite a discussion now in Identica. It's been going on for about 2 days now. Some people actually do advocate and do defend people with their personal names, and actually one of them working for Red Hat. And they think that the denial of service attacks are a form of protest. And we try to explain to them why the analogy doesn't exactly work. I say us because I'm against these denial of service attacks, not just on the grounds of where basically you're punishing people instead of the corporations, which can basically cease to exist without people being hurt. But also, it's interesting to hear the arguments of the other side, because what they say is a bit like sit-ins, and it's a bit like a protest in the street or trying to block the entry into a building. Which under some circumstances might be legal as a form of protest, depending on the nature of what happens. But then there is the issue of diplomacy and how you want to represent a side, and whether you want to protest in the sense that you deny people access to services when they actually haven't done anything wrong. So just to let people know, I know almost, I'd say about a third of the people I follow, they don't participate in any of that, but they aren't against that. And Wikileaks has taken a stand. I suppose it was pressure to say something about denial of service attacks, where it says that we neither condone nor not reject, but they basically don't really want to take both any of the sides. And some say it's because they don't want to be attacked themselves for condemning the attacks of these people who are supposed to be supporting them. The other thing was just very quickly. Just today or yesterday, one of the hacker magazines, one of the big magazines in the area, did come out with a statement against that, basically saying and asking them politely to stop doing that, which is similar to what happened with Anonymous taking on the big media industry, all kinds of the RIAA, the MPAA, ACS Law. There were several groups to do with copyrights and people who promote the reform of the copyright actually coming out and saying to these people very politely, we think you're not helping the cause by being kind of violent online.
Yeah, I think the other side of that is if you're trying to say that we support freedom of speech, then that also includes people who you don't agree with. So, I mean, what the various governments are trying to silence Wikileaks because Wikileaks is saying something they don't want heard. So by denying someone else that same right to say something you disagree with, then it's a little bit hypocritical, really. But certainly it's more sort of dignified to not engage in that. And I've seen that magazine cover or that article where they are saying, look, just don't do it. You're not helping. Really, I mean. The sentiment is there. I appreciate the sentiment, but you're not helping. You're really not helping.
Yeah, I'm not sure much of a I think it's a mixture of the people who actually participate in these actions. I mean, some of them are under 18. I'm just guessing, just because the only person I know of which was arrested was 16. but quite a few of them don't have the liability or the understanding or much to lose. Some of them are just enjoying the hacker culture, and I think there is a bit of excitement in it, trying to participate to make a change. It's actually interesting because even